Okay, let's unpack this. For this deep dive, we've got a really fascinating mix, actually. Pulled from Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. We're going to explore whether, high-end travel can actually be good for the planet.
Right.
Dig into some surprising stuff about our own fields, and maybe get a handle on some bigger societal shifts. Sounds like a bit of a grab bag, maybe.
A little bit, but I think the threads are there. It's interesting how these different areas, luxury travel, anxieties, social trends, they kind of give us these different ways to look at our values,
Totally.
We've got Richard Crawford from Leave No Trace TV with a really fresh take on luxury eco-travel, challenges some assumptions.
Yeah.
And then AJ Eglin brings his insights on, well, the mental side of achievement and some broader things happening out there.
Exactly. So our mission here really is to drill down, get the most insightful bits from these chats. Let's start with Richard Crawford. His show, Leave No Trace TV on Amazon Prime. It showcases these incredible places, often super luxurious, but, and this is key, with a strong sustainability commitment.
And what's interesting is, I think you mentioned the original idea was different, out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Just pure luxury travel.
Yeah, exactly.
The shift came when they found these places already doing high-end stuff with, like, a real eco-philosophy.
Yeah.
So the market, maybe the demand, was already kind of bubbling up.
Right. Which leads to the big question Crawford asks. Can luxury travel and saving the planet actually coexist?
It feels counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Totally. Like, luxury equals waste, indulgence, maybe not caring so much about the environment. That's the automatic thought, maybe.
Yeah, that assumption that luxury has to mean a big footprint. But Crawford's work suggests maybe luxury is evolving, valuing the experience, the preservation, maybe more than just stuff.
And he gave some great examples, like the Maldives, this private island. No news and no shoes.
Okay.
You've got Michelin chefs, amazing food, massages, all the high-end stuff, but no shoes. It points to something more, I don't know, grounded, less flashy luxury.
It's fascinating. The idea that sustainability could actually improve the luxury experience.
How so?
Well, by cutting out some unnecessary frills, focusing on the place itself, the natural setting, maybe it creates a deeper sense of escape, a different kind of indulgence.
Interesting. Then he talked about Antarctica, which just sounds mind-blowing. These high-end pods for accommodation in the coldest, driest, windiest place on Earth.
Wow.
And he was clear, this is luxury for Antarctica, totally different than a beach resort. It's about being safe, comfortable in this extreme place.
That really shows how luxury depends on the context, right?
Yeah.
In a place like that, maybe the ultimate luxury is just being there safely with minimal impact, experiencing that raw beauty.
And the scale is tiny. He said maybe 5,000 people in summer, mostly researchers.
Right, mostly science.
The kind of tourism he's talking about, these pods. Maybe 120 guests over months. Tiny.
Which is so different from the idea of Antarctica becoming like a mainstream cruise stop.
Exactly. Those bigger coastal tours, this exclusivity, it almost has to be low impact by design.
Yeah, that limited access model. Maybe that's one way luxury and sustainability work together. Keep it controlled, low volume, prioritize preserving the place. Makes the experience unique, too.
Now, Crawford also gave some really practical advice for travelers. Said a big mistake is just picking places that claim they're eco-friendly without actually checking if it's true.
Ah, the greenwashing problem. It's huge.
Yeah.
Companies marketing themselves as green when maybe they're not doing much. You really got to be critical, look for proof. Vague claims, without data or real certifications. That's a red flag.
And he specifically mentioned certifications like B Corp and lead. Said they're reliable indicators.
Right.
Getting B Corp certified, for instance, sounds intense, takes like a year, maybe more. You even have to change your company structure. It's not just marketing.
That kind of tough assessment gives you confidence, right? It means they've met really high standards, not just environmentally, but socially, too.
And then the conversation kind of shifted, got a bit personal. My own canceled Antarctica trip came up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just underlines how rare those really remote trips are.
Those personal bits help, though. Makes it more relatable, grounds the ideas.
Then, totally out of left field, we started talking about fear of heights.
Really? How did that come up?
Some silly bouncing ball video, then a ladder incident. It's funny how these deep fears just, pop up, even if you've done seemingly scarier things before.
It's interesting psychologically. Those primal fears, they stick around, don't they? Even if you rationally know lower. Survival instincts, maybe?
Must be. We talked about trying to conquer fears like bungee jumping, but even doing that might not totally kill the fear.
Mm-hmm.
Marty mentioned he has a slight fear of heights, too, even though he'd been up the Sears Tower.
See, it's common. Not about being brave or not, just how we're wired sometimes.
But then we contrasted that with actually overcoming fear, like skydiving. Richard did it for his 30th.
And I remember skydiving. That weird sense of peace floating down after the initial terror.
Right, that moment of surrender, almost.
Yeah.
It shows how complex fear is. Sometimes facing it is liberating, other times it just stays there, waiting.
And then this absolutely cracked me up. The 100 guys versus a gorilla meme came up.
Oh my gosh.
Richard's actually been close to gorillas in the wild. He was like, no way, absolutely no way.
I bet.
Just emphasizing their power, their like almost human presence. It really makes you appreciate these creatures.
That's a great anecdote. Ties right back to Leave No Trace, doesn't it? Respecting wildlife, observing, not interfering.
Totally. Before we moved off Richard, he previewed his next seasons. Sound amazing.
Yeah.
Season 2 hits all 7 continents.
Wow.
Season 3 has places like Namibia Desert meeting the ocean. Seriously, bucket list stuff.
And all of that sustainability focus. It shows this isn't just a niche thing anymore. It's becoming more global.
Yeah, it seems like it. Oh, and we did some fun rapid fire questions with him.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Favorite travel snack? Chocolate caramel. Sunrise breakfast over sunset dinner. Can't travel without. Swimming shorts. Weirdest thing eaten abroad. Conch penis.
Wow, okay.
And the one luxury he won't give up, even traveling sustainably. A comfy bed.
Ah, priorities, right. It makes them relatable. Even with these big ideas, everyone needs a good night's sleep.
Exactly. So that was Richard's world. Then, sharp turn, conversation with AJ Eglin moved into mental resilience, sparked by the Winnipeg Jets winning Game 7.
Right, quite a shift from our planetary impact to, like, the inner game.
Right.
And broader societal stuff, too.
That game was something else. AJ really zoomed in on the mental toughness, pointed out the goalie openly talked about the mental side afterwards.
Yeah, in high-pressure sports like that, the mental game is often the decider, isn't it? Everyone's physically skilled. It's about handling pressure, bouncing back.
AJ linked the win to how they persevered, you know? Coming back in the series, injuries, momentum shifts, his point was those really hard experiences, often necessary to achieve big things. The only way out is through, he said.
That tracks with psychology. Like post-traumatic growth.
Yeah.
Getting through really tough stuff can build confidence, make you feel more capable.
And he made a great point about how a win like that, fought so hard, can really bond a team, build belief for whatever comes next.
For sure. Shared struggle, shared success that builds serious camaraderie, makes the group stronger.
Then we talked about something super relatable, the potential letdown after a big achievement.
Yes. The high, then the dip.
That feeling, I think most of us know it, right? Where does the motivation go?
It's pretty common. All that focus and energy on one goal, afterwards, there's often a natural decompression. You need strategies to keep moving.
AJ stressed structure, routine, like athletes getting right back to training.
Exactly.
Which ties into that habit stacking idea we talked about before, linking a new habit to an old one. Helps stay consistent even after a big win.
Yeah, habit stacking is powerful there. Use existing momentum. Routine gives you that framework, stops you from just drifting after the goal is met.
And it connected back to a past guest who relied on routine during a tough personal time. That consistency can be a real anchor.
Absolutely. Routine isn't just about goals. It's stability, predictability, a sense of control when things feel chaotic. It's self-care, really.
Oh, okay. Lastly, with AJ, the conversation went broader. This prediction of a potential divorce wave in 2025.
Right, that was interesting. Complex stuff.
Experts pointing to financial stress, mental health issues, maybe a backlog from people putting it off.
Yeah, multiple factors feeding into it. Money troubles definitely strain relationships. Sometimes people stay together longer than they might otherwise, just for financial reasons.
But it's not just money, is it? Mental health, infidelity, even just changing expectations, especially things like gray divorces later in life.
Society's changing. More focus on individual happiness, less stigma around divorce maybe. People feel more able to make changes.
AJ also thought maybe more couples are seeking therapy now, which could be seen as positive, right? Trying to work through things.
Could be. A sign of more awareness about relationship health, willingness to get help, which is good, whatever the outcome.
And they talked about sleep divorce, sleeping in separate rooms for better sleep.
Yeah, that trend.
Becoming more accepted. Matthew Roof apparently had a good experience with it. Shows how much we're prioritizing sleep now, maybe, and individual needs within a relationship.
Definitely a shift from just assuming couples have to share a bed.
Yeah.
Focusing on what actually works for well-being.
It all kind of led into Esther Perel's idea that people might have like 3 significant long-term relationships or marriages in a lifetime, maybe even with the same person, just
Yeah.
different versions of the relationship at different life stages.
It acknowledges how much people change, right? And relationships have to adapt or, well, sometimes they end and new ones begin. Life isn't static.
So, wrapping this deep dive up,
Mhm.
what are the main takeaways that stick out for you?
Well, first, from Richard Crawford, this idea that luxury and sustainability aren't enemies. Sometimes sustainability even makes the luxury better. Second, travelers need to be smart about green claims. Look for real proof, like those certifications. Avoid the greenwashing. And third, those personal fears. They're real. They can pop up unexpectedly. A good reminder of our shared humanity, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. And from the AJ conversation.
The Jets' win really showed mental resilience in action, how overcoming tough stuff builds strength, bonds teams.
Yeah.
Then that post-achievement slump is real, but structure, routine, habit stacking these things help maintain momentum.
Good tools.
And finally, that potential divorce wave. It points to bigger economic and social forces really shaping our personal lives and relationships.
Okay, so final thought for everyone listening to chew on. Think about the contradictions maybe in your own life. Where do indulgence and responsibility meet? Or where could they meet?
Yeah.
And what's one small habit maybe you could start stacking today? Something that might have surprising results later.
And how do you handle those highs of achievement and the lows that sometimes follow? How do you balance that with just the comfort of your daily routine?
Lots to think about. It's all part of this ongoing deep dive, right? Understanding ourselves, understanding the world,